So welcome everybody, welcome back to the Wrestling Roadshow. This week on the road we'll be heading to the Freeman Coliseum in San Antonio, Texas. It's December 3, 1991, a Tuesday in Texas.
A Tuesday, you say?
A Tuesday, yes.
That's a bit unusual. This was, I believe, the first time they did a pay-per-view on a Tuesday.
And the last time for quite some time.
Yeah, as we'll soon find out why.
Yeah, so it's an interesting calendar here in 91 in the old World Wrestling Federation. That we had Survivor Series 6 days prior to this.
Yeah. That probably was one of the reasons why this pay-per-view didn't go so well with the punters.
They packed 8,000 into the building.
Yeah,
didn't look too bad, but obviously ticket sales and pay-per-view buys are very different metrics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, and unusual to do another pay-per-view so soon after a pay-per-view.
And I believe this was the first pay-per-view that wasn't one of the big four.
Yeah, you're probably right there. Yeah. Before we had pay-per-views every month, or sometimes more than one pay-per-view a month. Yeah, there was really only the main ones, like you said. So it was a bit of a departure for the WWF.
Yeah, no, I know they had things like the big event, the Wrestling Challenge, but they weren't technically pay-per-views. I think they were TV specials.
Yeah.
Just historically, they get lumped in as pay-per-views because they serve the same purpose.
Yeah. So, yeah. Sorry, I was just gonna say that, and it wasn't a very long pay-per-view either.
No, which people who watch that AEW show will think, yep, this is the perfect length for a pay-per-view.
Yeah, when you sent me the file to watch it, I was thinking that maybe half of it had gone missing, but no, it only went for hour and a half, something like that.
Yeah, we only had 5 matches on the broadcast.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah, so nice little footnote in history of this pay-per-view, and I mean, I thought it was a fine little show for what it was.
Oh, really? Okay. For what it was.
For what it was. And it was 6 days after Survivor Series. We opened with Mean Gene interviewing Paul Bearer and brand new at that point WWF Champion Undertaker in the bowels of the Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, right after Survivor Series.
Yeah, it was kind of funny to see the Undertaker as a champion in that early phase of his character. Like, I think later incarnations of the Undertaker, it kind of made sense for him to have the title, but I don't know. Here it was a little bit odd.
Yeah, well, I guess this was during a time where they had, I think 91 would have been the most title changes they'd had in history at that point. Maybe 88 on a technicality, but with the Andre DiBiase vacant. But yeah, 91 to this point, I mean, we started the year with Ultimate Warrior as champion, looking to break the 1-year record, having won it at Mania 6 the year before. Didn't last too long. Sergeant Slaughter took it off him at the Royal Rumble. Kept it warm for Hogan to get his 3rd reign at WrestleMania 2 months later. And then, Undertaker with his first win in November. So pretty much in 91, you've had Ultimate Warrior, Sergeant Slaughter, and The Undertaker all in their first reign as WWF Champion.
Yeah, so it was an interesting year because ordinarily you would have seen Hogan as multi-year champion. So yeah, you're right. The title did kind of bounce around a little bit at this phase of time. But yeah, Survivor Series, controversial end, which I guess is why they decided to do this pay-per-view was because of the interference of Ric Flair putting the chair into the ring and the Undertaker with the tombstone on Hogan, which Hogan later complained about, that it shook him up and he hurt his neck, and which is a pretty big accusation to make against a wrestler, basically saying that they're unsafe.
Well, he did drop him on his head on a chair.
Oh, come on. Didn't you see the footage? It was probably it was about the safest tombstone he could have done.
You mean it was a shoot complaint?
It was a shoot complaint, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He claimed that he was all shaken up by it. He'd been hurt, and apparently the Undertaker was a bit concerned about it. He looked at the video footage and was like, hang on, his head's like several centimeters off the chair. I mean, if anything, the Undertaker probably hurt his knees. But yeah, that was a little bit of politicking on the part of the Hulkster.
And that might have actually worked in Taker's favor, setting him up as an early sort of locker room leader, one of the guys type thing against the tyranny of Hogan.
The tyranny of Hulkamania. Yeah. I mean, it was a very baseless complaint, and
as a lot of Hogan's tended to be.
Oh, come on now, he's never told a lie again. But yeah, I mean, I guess that the Undertaker was, especially the early phase of the character was, this guy that felt no pain and all that sort of thing, and Hogan had a kind of a similar act. Like he'd do a great job selling, but then the hulking up part, and then nothing. You couldn't do anything to him. He'd go on and win, and I guess now they've got this other indestructible guy come in, and ordinarily Hogan was able to deal with these guys, but Undertaker was a different story, and he probably felt like this is one of the guys that the WWF were going to go with moving forward, and maybe start to phase Hogan out. I don't know. But
yeah, I think they were. So, I mean, like also they had Flair there too, so Hogan would have felt extremely threatened when he turned up.
And I guess also around the time of the steroid stuff that was going on, and Hogan copped a lot of heat for comments that he made on, I believe it was the Arsenio Hall show, where they asked him outright about, are you on the juice, and he claimed that he wasn't. And
I've never met Juventud in my life.
Hey, not that juice. But I was actually watching an interview with Bret Hart, and he talked about the subject, and he felt like the reaction of the locker room was, if Hogan had just told the truth about it, it wouldn't have been as bad. But because he just outright lied about it.
But he's never told a lie in his life, you just said.
Maybe that was... No. I said the last lie he told was The Undertaker. So, I don't know where the timeline's... I don't know. I'm all confused.
I believe... I'm not sure when the interview happened. But... the Arsenio Hall thing.
Yeah.
But
okay. Oh, right. Yeah.
Through 91, I believe the federal government was gathering the evidence to set him up and take him down.
Yeah.
So there was definitely something going on in the background. I think that the Zahorian trial might have started or something along those lines. I'm just doing a little bit of... Yeah, 91, they convicted Zahorian.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that it was definitely a subject that was in the minds of everybody except Vince, who started the World Bodybuilding Federation.
Yeah. So what he... Okay, so the steroid thing started happening, the trial, or the accusations and all that, and then I always thought that he started the WBF and then the steroid stuff come out and he had to close shop on that, or maybe it might have sort of all happened at the same time frame.
No, I believe in I
Excuse
think
me.
it was 89. They changed the laws.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that was by a young politician, goes by the name of Joe Biden.
Who?
Joe Biden was instrumental in implementing
Oh, never
the
heard
steroid
of him.
laws here.
He
Yeah,
must not have kicked on with his career.
no.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that explains why Vince votes Republican.
Yeah.
So yeah, they introduced that to try and stamp out the steroids in sports.
Yeah.
Then they got they got an informant, and then got onto Zahorian. So I think it was as early as like 89 when the thing changed, like the laws changed. The WWF's like, hey, George, yeah, sorry, we've lost your season pass.
Ooh. Oh no.
And yeah, that's when they were wise to it.
So I'm assuming that Zahorian was also providing steroids for other athletes, not just
Yeah, I
wrestlers. Yeah, and
believe it
that's
was a like a high school football coach or something was the one that they, like the informant that they got Zahorian with.
Okay.
Yeah, something along those lines. I don't have a lot of notes handy. I'm sort of going by memory here.
Well, to be fair, this program was we were meant to be talking about the pay-per-view, so
Yeah,
yeah.
nice little deviation here. But it's relevant. It's relevant.
Yeah.
For more information on the steroid trial, I would recommend the Dark Side of the Ring episode on it,
Oh yeah,
or a short version of it. The slightly longer version, the book Sex, Lies and Headlocks by Sean Assail, is very good. Or if you've got a spare week or two to burn, the Lapsed Fan podcast have a sensational series that dives as deep as you possibly can into it. They bought the transcript of the court trial, so they had the sources there, and one of the hosts was actually a consultant on the Dark Side episode.
Oh wow.
So,
And I'm sure Uncle Dave Meltzer also wrote a few words about it in the Observer back in the day.
I might have covered it.
Yeah, he might have written a few columns or two about it, but
To be fair though, like Masawa and Jumbo were really kicking off around that point, so it was sort of a little bit preoccupied.
but yeah. Anyway, so I guess the point we're trying to make is this is probably starting to get into a new phase of the WWF, and yeah. So and the steroid thing probably had something to do with it. So that's probably why we kind of got sidetracked on that.
Yeah, it's funny. I do actually mention the trial in passing a bit later on in my notes. But...
Oh, okay. Oh, damn it. I always mess up your notes, don't I? Because I've got no idea what you're going to talk about. And yeah, and then I just blurt out shit.
Oh, it was a throwaway comment, so it'll circle around nicely.
Oh, okay, cool.
But yeah, we should probably put it on the show. So we start with the 10th match of the evening. There were 9 dark matches on this show.
That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
It makes sense, I guess, for the people in attendance. If you're an hour and a half broadcast.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
And a lot of it would have been done for TVs eventually, or I don't know. But so yeah, dark matches. We have Ron and Don Harris going over Brian Costello and Brian Donahue, the Brian Connection.
Ron and Don Harris, interesting.
Yeah, yes. Skull and 8 Ball, Patrick and Gerald, whatever names they, like 600 names they had in their careers.
Eli and Jacob.
Yeah. Then we move along. We had Sir Charles defeating Dale Wolf, notably Sir Charles being Sir Charles Wright, better known as Kama Mustafa.
Papa Shango?
The Good Father. Yeah,
Ah,
probably others.
yeah, I was just trying to think. Soul Taker.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Soul Taker in the USWA. For all our Memphis fans listening.
It's funny you mentioned that. Shout out to our listener in Texas. I guess this show is the closest you'll get to a hometown show.
Hey, if if the demand is there, we'll probably look at. They had one of the Royal Rumbles there, didn't they, at San Antonio?
97, yeah.
Not in the
I
Freeman
believe.
Coliseum, but
Well,
I'm
and
sure.
we've covered a world-class show.
Well, there you go. So
Plenty of love for Texas.
lots of material out there. But anyway, dark matches. Sorry.
I'm just going to deviate for a little bit.
Okay.
So with our stats, and I guess this comes to a privacy policy sort of thing, we can see that we get hits in the Dallas-Fort Worth market. So this, I can't drill down any deeper than that, don't worry. So
yeah, we don't need the feds kicking down our doors.
No. So I had a look at a map for Texas. Oh yeah, well I don't think those two Dallas and San Antonio are that close. Of course, I punch in Texas, brings up Texas, Queensland. So to, most of our listeners, yeah, there's a Texas in Queensland, Australia.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, that's not the Texas we're in this Tuesday.
Well, yeah, okay. So
maybe next Tuesday.
for those of you tuning in from Texas, Queensland, and thought, oh wow, there was a WWF pay-per-view in one of our arenas. Yeah, sorry.
No, that would have been likely an IWA show, but I digress. Back to the dark matches.
Yes.
So we've got Chris Walker defeating Primetime Brian Lee.
Ooh.
Chris Walker, I've not heard of before.
No, I've never heard of him.
No, Wikipedia says he worked for GWF, the Global Wrestling Federation, on the ESPN. But yeah, not a name we're familiar with here.
No, okay.
Brian Lee, also known as the Undertaker.
Yeah. Or Chains.
Yeah, or Primetime Brian Lee from Smoky Mountain.
That's it, Smoky Mountain. Why haven't we got any viewers from Louisville or Tennessee? I would have thought there'd be some around. We've covered a bit of Smoky before, haven't we?
We've done a Smoky show as well.
Yeah, I'm going to have to get onto the people of Tennessee about that. We've got representation from Dallas-Fort Worth, and nothing from Tennessee yet. Anyway,
we'll
sorry.
Tennessee you in another episode.
Yeah. Okay.
So, moving on, we have Chris Chavis defeating JW Storm.
Now we know those names. Well, I do. What about you?
Yeah, Chris Chavis or Chavis or it's not
Chavis.
Chavis. I don't know how to pronounce that name
Anyway.
correctly, but Tatanka.
Yes. Who I guess was he wouldn't have been too much longer coming into the WWF.
Yeah, I'm not too sure when he. I
thought it was 92. Yeah. Well,
91 according to Wikipedia.
91.
So
okay.
very soon after this.
And JW Storm, I've actually seen him. He wrestled a couple of matches in ECW, and I think he was like a preliminary guy for the big companies.
Yeah,
Pretty solid.
certainly.
He was pretty solid.
Oh yeah, good to know. Then we move on to Greg the Hammer.
Well, we know
Valentine.
I was going to say.
Defeating the Brooklyn Brawler.
Okay. All right. Yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, solid 2-minute match there.
Oh, okay. He hammered him.
Yeah, so I'd say that was broadcast somewhere because match times start coming in after this point.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yes.
Then Nasty Boys, Knobs and Sags defeating the Bushwhackers, Butch and Luke. So there's something for our New Zealand viewership.
Oh, jeez.
Something for everybody on this show.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, I didn't realize the Nasties were here in 91, but I suppose they were only working a dark match, so who knows how long they were there for.
Yep. And how many? When do we get to the Ric Flair Roddy Piper match? Because
Oh,
we're
still
not
got
there
about half
yet.
an hour to go.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Half an hour of match time on the show. We'll get there a lot quicker on our show. Then we have Legion of Doom, Animal and Hawk, Demolition Plus, defeating the Road Warriors. Let's try that again.
Hey?
The Rockers, I can
Oh,
read.
right. Okay.
Sean and Marty for the WWF title. Then they back it up with a match against Typhoon and our old mate John Tenter, the Earthquake.
So who did the Legion of Doom wrestle? Sorry.
The Rockers and then the Natural Disasters.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting because they were the tag team champions. So I wonder how they felt just being on the dark match.
Well, they got 2 wins, so they didn't have too
No,
much to
fair
complain
enough.
about.
Oh, fair enough.
And then we get to Flair and Piper.
Yeah, and that's the one that I was really shocked to see as a dark match. Especially considering there's only 5 matches on the telecast.
I don't know if Flair had actually wrestled yet.
Yeah, well, it would have been very early on because I think he started with Piper before he moved on to anything else. I think him and Piper they started off. So yeah, it would have been very, very soon. Yeah, it may have been one of his first matches.
Well, I guess the Rumble was January, so it's not like there was too much time between that and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily they decided to flick the cameras on at this point, and we got to watch Skinner try and take the Intercontinental title from Bret, Mr. Hitman Hart.
Yeah, Skinner, relatively new to the WWF as well.
Yeah, of course the former Steve Keirn.
Yeah, at this point he's undefeated. They do mention that in the match.
Yeah, which I mean, this match is all I've seen of Skinner, but I've seen this match before. It was on a DVD they put out about the Intercontinental title.
Ah, yep.
Which was a solid rental. It had 5 matches. I don't remember specifically what was on there, but I know this was on there.
Okay. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty good match.
I enjoyed it, yeah.
Quite a long match too. Yeah, Skinner gets a fair bit of time to shine in this one. And yeah, it was actually my favorite match. One of my favorite matches on the pay-per-view.
We only had 5 to choose from.
Well, this is true. And don't ask me why, but I was looking up some Skinner stuff earlier today, and he was saying that they were actually telling him that he had to tone down like his in-ring work because it was like outshining the other guys for what was really like a mid-card gimmick kind of thing. So, but yeah, I thought this was pretty decent.
I thought it was interesting with he was obviously the heel here by the commentary, but he just come across as a normal guy in the ring.
Yeah.
It just seemed like a guy going to work, doing his thing, and the gimmick was where the heat was.
Yeah.
But even then, there wasn't much gimmick here other than the appearance.
Yeah, I think it kind of, like he got a bigger beard and, he got more of like the tobacco chew all over his face. Like this was like, the beginnings of the character. So I guess, little things that were added. He does have the crocodile paw.
Yeah, or alligator.
Alligator, whatever. Which he does use at times. But yeah, and the gear is, it's not very dirty looking.
No.
So yeah, this is early Skinner, definitely.
He didn't last really a huge amount of time to get late Skinner, but yeah.
Yeah. But
I
But
must say though, he looks a lot like Brody Lee.
the Skinner. Ah,
Yeah, or
yeah,
Luke Harper.
yeah. It's a bit of a sort of a swamp man type look
Yeah,
to it.
yeah. So there might have been a bit of inspiration. Probably not actually, because like Brody Lee always looked like that,
Yeah, he always looked like a swamp thing. But
despite being a very well-spoken, articulate, upstate New York gentleman.
yeah. But yeah, what stood out for you in this match? Was there anything that caught your eye? Or
I
what
did
do you think?
actually referee being named Danny Davis. That threw me a bit.
Ah, yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't realize there was actually two Danny Davises.
Okay,
Yeah, because
yeah,
I didn't watch the dodgy ref stuff when he was doing that.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
hadn't actually seen a Danny
Oh,
Davis
really?
until
Okay.
I started watching Smokey.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
All
like,
right.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, this is the guy. So
Yeah.
in my mind, there's like one Danny Davis. Like, oh, he was a ref, then he worked for Smokey, then he ran OVW.
Yeah.
So this sort of threw that misconception. Oh, no, that's not. That's what. Look at it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because otherwise, then we would have had another future Smoky Mountain talent on the show.
Yeah.
We had a fair bit of representation in the dark matches,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, and then the referee was Danny Davis as well, but no, different Danny Davis.
Yeah, this was Dynamite Danny Davis, not Nitro Danny Davis. I don't know.
What are you on about?
I don't know most of the time. Anyway,
Yeah,
dangerous.
the Nightmare Danny Davis, and then he changed his name to Nitro Danny Davis,
Yeah.
Smokey. Yeah, and this was Dangerous Danny Davis.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah, when he was doing the heel ref thing. Yeah.
Yeah. We get one of Brett's signature moves, the old second rope elbow drop, which it's simple, but it looks so good.
Yeah.
It's so realistic. I love it. I walked away from this just Brett is just a wonderful wrestler.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And of course, I mean, we're talking a lot about Skinner. I mean, he was Steve Kern, excellent worker. So
Fabulous worker.
these two, exactly. He was a fabulous one. And these two have pretty good chemistry, I think.
That's what happens when you put two good workers in.
Oh, it's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Skinner's undefeated record didn't quite last much further than this match with Brett going over. Yeah.
Were you shocked by the finish?
Nah.
Nah.
But I guess Brett was on the rise, so it made sense. Skinner was a gimmick.
Yeah.
Brett's the future.
Yeah. But yeah, solid opener.
Yeah. Then we head over to Jake the Snake Roberts backstage. Now, I could have tried to write notes and quotes and whatnot from this promo. I didn't. All I did was sit here going, holy shit, Jake is so good.
Yeah. And he cuts another promo after the match, which is even better than this. He's just absolutely brilliant at these heel, like just real, I don't know what the word is.
They used sick, but I don't think it's quite right.
Yeah, like depraved maybe.
Evil.
Yeah. Demonic is what I think what I'm looking for. This was a hell of a feud, and like 91, and the lead into this was, of course, the infamous Cobra biting Randy Savage, which resulted in him being reinstated after he had lost to the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 7 in a retirement match. And
Very good match, by the way.
Yeah, it was. It really was, yeah. And then basically did commentary and stuff like that. And then there was like a campaign, reinstate Randy and, blah, blah, blah. And I think that probably kicked it up a notch when they did the whole wedding thing with him and Elizabeth, which was pretty special. You didn't didn't really see. I know. Okay, I know they had the Uncle Elmer wedding back in the day, but this was like watching like a royal wedding, and there was no buffoonery about it. It was done like they were really getting married, and it's only when they do the reception that they do an angle.
The good thing about it is it was two people that the crowd genuinely cared about.
Yeah, yeah. You can see well, when even at WrestleMania when Randy and Liz reunited, and people are crying, and it was a really emotional thing, and so yeah, this was a highly memorable feud, one of the most memorable feuds I think in the company's history, and Jake's promos are just off the charts.
I think this was probably his peak.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Then we get Randy in response, and again, I wasn't taking notes. I was just sitting there and enjoying it. And he's wired. He's ready to go. So these two promos back to back, it's just here's one guy, here's another guy, here's pure evil and a volatile explosive ready to go. Like after these promos, like I wanted this match.
Yeah, definitely.
And honestly, when I was looking at the card, this stood out to me as I'm interested in watching that. So this just got me amped, got me ready. And like Randy, he's just absolutely like insane and projects dangerousness so well. Like, and he pretty much like always did. Even in WCW, he was like, that guy's actually dangerous. Was my always my understanding as a kid.
Yeah, he definitely got that across, and it was I thought it was a bit erratic, really, but I mean, it suited for what this was. But you definitely, after hearing those promos, you definitely wanted to watch this match, and to me, this was the standout match. Like, this was what really sold this pay-per-view, was this match. So
yeah, this and the main event, I think, are the two that had me going.
Got you excited?
Got me primed.
Oh, well, we better get into the match then.
Yeah, so we get into the match, and yeah, it's a nice contrast between Jake's methodical control segments and Randy's scrappy comeback attempts.
Yeah,
they gelled in the characters, they gelled in the ring. But yeah, it was a short match, which surprised me that it was over as quick as it was. Savage with the elbow. And Jake didn't seem to take a lot of damage either.
No.
Which is like, if Jake had to beat Savage, it wouldn't have been as big a shock with the timing of it. But it's like, okay, bang, done. Oh, okay. It didn't quite feel like he'd beaten him enough to get the win.
Yeah.
But they made up for it afterwards.
Well, I think that's probably why it was a shorter match, so they could do all this stuff afterwards. And I think it was more of a fight than it was a wrestling match.
Yeah, which honestly the good blood feuds are.
Yeah, I was surprised too at first by the length of the match. It was like all of a sudden it was over. It's like, oh, okay. But then you see the afterbirth. But it's a great afterbirth.
Probably just should have mentioned that new president Jack Tunney had banned the snake from ringside. Like, Jake was not allowed a reptile in his corner.
Yeah.
So they have the aftermath. Where Jake just destroys Savage. Liz is really screaming and selling it. And I think it just went on long enough to get uncomfortable.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I was going to say too, like when he's telling, beg, that was that's pretty bad. But yeah,
there's beatdowns, and I mean, you watch anything from the last 20 years, and you can't watch a show without having a beatdown or two. So watching this beatdown, but then it just went that little bit longer than it should have.
Yeah. But yeah, it was really well done. Like he keeps hitting the DDT on him, and yeah, Liz does a great job, and then he's like goes for the bag, and
I thought El
which
Hebner did a great job too.
yeah, he was great too. Like get the hell out of there, and then Jake actually hits Elizabeth, which might not mean as much now. Like you see females get roughed up all the time in
A
wrestling,
lot
but
less in modern wrestling now. I
yeah,
feel.
they have actually, because they've sort of gone towards more, women wrestlers as athletes rather than, valets or whatever.
Even the intergender stuff, a lot of them will not use strikes
Yeah, yeah,
because of the connotations. Like
yeah,
they can still grapple and have moves, but yeah, the male to female strikes are pretty much non-existent today.
yeah. Which, yeah, is fair enough.
Yeah,
But yeah, Jake, slaps her in the face, and that was pretty heinous.
he's sick.
It's well, and that's the thing. Like, they well, as we go into the next promo, and Mean Gene is just disgusted. Like, like he's seen the most vilest thing in the world. And the thing about this beatdown was that you actually forget that he's just lost the match. You just completely forget that he's just done a job. And all we're thinking about is, oh my God, he slapped Liz, and like, poor old Randy. I mean, he's brutalized Randy, but then what everyone's really focused on is, oh my God, he laid his hands on Liz.
And I feel like Liz held a special place in the company and the fans at that point. Like, if it was Sherry, it wouldn't have been the same, anywhere near as impactful.
No.
And Sherry didn't really wrestle much. It was like she wasn't viewed as a wrestler in WWF. Obviously, she had in the past, but yeah, like there was Sherry, and I think there was a few others around that time, possibly. I'm not sure.
I don't think there were a whole lot of female valets, to be honest. In the WWF at least, but yeah, I mean, well, Sherry, apart from being a former wrestler, but she also got involved quite a bit in the matches.
Yeah, and Liz never had contact.
Whereas Liz was always just, So, for a wrestler to put their hands on her, and that's the thing. If it was done all the time, no one would care. But this was just one of those things that happened,
and it enhanced what they were going for greatly.
Yeah. Do you want me to rant again?
Oh, go for it.
No, I mean, I know some people might be over this, but yeah, that's one of the
later.
Sorry,
I can just edit it out later. Go for it.
Well, okay. Oh, screw you. But yeah, one of the issues with modern wrestling is it's just so much. Like it's and I think that's where some people have, but not a lot of people, but some people have had issues about what they did in the Attitude Era and what the ECW did, where it just desensitizes you so much that okay, another chick's just got put through a table. Okay, cool. Like they'll pop, but it's like, yeah, okay. But yeah, like, incidents like this did not happen all the time. And I mean, especially for 91 WWF, you didn't see a lot of this, like, intensity of the feud. A lot of the stuff with Hogan, it was kind of cartoony. A lot of the stuff.
Especially the cartoon.
Yeah, that too. And, and with the Warrior and, looking at the stars and, all the shit he used to talk about. But, I mean, this was reality. Like, this seemed like there could really be an issue between these two people. So, yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite feuds of all time. And, and Mean Gene just, get the hell out of here.
Oh, he's so good.
Like, yeah, he was just like, he was going to be sick, like physically ill, without going over the top, like, often when you hear announcers, they'll go on about how disgusted they are at the heel, and it's just so so overdone and ridiculous. But you could just look at Gene like he looks like he's legitimately just like he's prepared to just tear up his contract, and so I can't deal with this shit anymore. I'm out of here.
Yeah, uncomfortable. He comes.
Yeah, and I mean, I was uncomfortable listening to that second promo. Where he's talking about, he wants to hit Elizabeth again, and how great it felt. He'll shape her into something that even he could like. I was like, whoa, it was pretty deep, pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, a masterclass in promo from Jake there.
Yeah. And what's he doing in AEW now?
He is managing Lance Archer.
Yeah, but
which
you don't really see a lot of input from him, do you?
No, well, Archer has been out hurt for a little bit after he did a moonsault, and it didn't quite work out. Not a serious injury, but yeah, Archer's had a lot of time off TV of late. But yeah, Jake hasn't really. He's cut a few promos and done a little bit, but yeah, he's definitely not a strong presence on their television.
Which is a shame.
Yeah,
I don't think he's in great health, to be fair, himself. Like, I think I
don't
saw
think he's been in great health since about 95.
That's true. I did see a photo of him. I'm remembering now. I did see a photo of him at some kind of autograph session or whatever, and he had like the tubes and.
Oh, really?
He had like something like oxygen or something. So yeah, maybe that's probably why. So. Apologies to AEW. I'm sorry.
I did actually go and see Jake on the speaking tour. A month before the world went to shit. And yeah, he was telling good stories. He was in like pretty good shape for, the age he is and the life he's had. But yeah, obviously that was a little while ago now. But yeah, definitely glad I went to that.
Yeah, the timing was good too.
Yeah,
a month before the world fell apart.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so where are we? Yeah, just another little point on Jack Tunney finally came out to break the beating up and do something eventually. That was when Jake pulled the bag out, and the first thing he says to Tunney is like, "There's no snake in this bag."
Yeah, that was brilliant. Yeah, that was so good.
So he'd played within his restrictions, and yeah, so good.
Gets us primed up here on the Roadshow. It really does.
So then, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the WWF was undergoing something of an investigation regarding a steroid trial, and their doctor had just been convicted. But you wouldn't know it given this next match.
Well, to be fair, they were gone pretty. I don't think they were around much after this.
Oh, Davey made it to SummerSlam '92, as we
that's true.
Seem to mention a lot.
Yeah, we do talk about that a little bit, don't we? Yes.
Although, I'd just like to point out,
here we go.
We have covered an awful lot of pay-per-views and shows with Davey Boy Smith.
Yeah. Where's our English Where's our British fucking fans then?
Yeah, well, we've got them.
Do we? Oh, good. Maybe that's because we talk so much about Davey Boy. So that must be. But these were two guys that as the transition really kicked in over this whole steroid debacle. Davey Boy and Warlord were two of the guys that shipped out.
It seems like it wasn't a good time to be a bloke named Terry in that company.
No. No.
But yeah, I've seen Warlord before. He was briefly in WCW as I don't know, bloody super assassin or one of those generic gimmicks, teaming with Barbarian, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, he impressed me here. I've got in my notes, Warlord is a big unit.
And still to this day, I've seen recent photos of him. He's still massive. So, but yeah, I don't know. This match kind of dragged on a bit for me, and
12 minutes, yeah.
But and maybe because, and it might also be because I've seen this match a few times in terms of that they had a match at WrestleMania 7. I've also seen a house show match of theirs, which was pretty much the same as what they did at WrestleMania. And then this match, which wasn't really a whole lot different about it.
It surprised me with how much the big fellas were moving.
Yeah.
Like, there's clotheslines over the top, slingshot body presses, missile drop kicks.
Yeah. I guess it wasn't too bad, but I don't know. It was all right for me.
I suppose how many different matches did these guys have in them?
Yeah, probably just a few spots. But like I said, yeah, like I've seen a few different versions of this match, so but yeah, they do repeat a few different spots. The full Nelson deal where he's trying to get the full Nelson on, and Bulldog does his big, power out of it. But yeah,
Thought the full Nelson with the hands in the hair was quite a good idea, despite not being strictly legal.
And Gorilla Monsoon didn't approve of it.
Didn't approve of Harvey Whippleman existing either.
No.
I mean, I'm not sure what the point of him was at this point, but
yeah, he was just kind of there. Yeah, he was just.
Geez, how about that? 2 shows in a row, and we got Harvey Whippleman appearance.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I always loved Gorilla's commentary. Like, he would just always get on the heels, and also, going back to the Skinner match, like, he always got on Skinner as well about how disgusting he was, and that probably did a lot to help that character get over as well. But yeah,
as I mentioned in the opener, like with the like the wrestling didn't really portray heel. I mean, the character was where the heat was, but yeah, Gorilla was the one putting it over. Yeah.
And and of course, Gorilla always gets on guys if they didn't really apply a hold, properly or whatever. So
he didn't quite get all of that.
Yeah. And he can't win the match like that. What a ridiculous cover.
And that makes sense coming from a former wrestler.
Yeah. And what did you think of the finish? The crucifix.
It was a finish.
Yeah.
I didn't take any notes, so it didn't obviously stick out that far.
Yeah. I remember the WrestleMania 7 match, and Bulldog goes for the crucifix in that match, and Warlord just throws himself back and smashes the Bulldog. So when I saw him try it again, I was like, here we go. But no, he gets the big Warlord over and gets the win. And this match almost went to 13 minutes.
I suppose that makes sense with the callback and then the different outcome. So
he
learned. I hadn't. I've probably seen the Mania match, but obviously didn't remember it.
Yeah, the Mania match was a lot quicker. So I don't know. This match was all right for me.
Then we move on to our semi-main event of what would have been a very long evening for the fans in attendance. Match number 13 for them.
Oh.
We have Repo Man and Ted DiBiase taking on El Matador, Tito Santana, and Virgil, Vincent.
I think
I can't come to Virgil. I know him as Vincent.
Before this match, I'm pretty sure we get a Savage interview. On the report that I'm just looking at now. We don't want to talk about that, or
yeah, no, we do. Yep, go for it.
Yep, cool. Yeah, Yeah, this was just erratic, like just more erratic than the first one, which makes sense. And again, they really focus on Elizabeth being slapped. Like, he doesn't care, and he feels like, it's his fault, and, he didn't get enough of Jake, which may also play into the match only being a few minutes. It was like, okay, he wanted longer, he wanted more time to really get into him. And he's down and he's crouching on the floor and he's like roughing up Sean Mooney and just going nuts. So
he looks a little bit haggard as well.
Yeah, he looks fucked. And so that was another really good promo.
He looks desperate, I think
that's the word.
Yeah. So that angle got 5 segments on this show.
Yeah. And that's where I think like this pay-per-view was really built to me on the Jake and Macho Man feud. I mean, I guess some people were interested in, is Hulk going to get revenge on the Undertaker? But for me, like the real highlight was that. And yeah, like you said, 5 segments on a pay-per-view telecast that goes like an hour and a half. So they really focused on this.
Oh, I'm just looking for it now, but my internet's being a little bit Australian. I don't know if Jake and Randy had Survivor Series, because Taker and Hogan obviously happened at Survivor Series. You couldn't sell this match, on this event until that happened.
Yeah.
So Jake and Randy might have been the built-up match for to actually sell the show.
Yeah, that's true. That's true enough.
Well, yeah, they wouldn't have done too much given that it was Savage's reinstatement.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that had been playing out. So yeah, they would have had to have sold this show on a match, and I think that was it. Certainly wasn't Warlord and the Bulldog. The long match from WrestleMania.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Oh, it's fine to be on a show, but I mean, you're not selling. I mean, they weren't really selling the pay-per-view, how the figures would suggest, but you're not selling a show on it.
No. And speaking of not selling a show on a match, I would definitely say that of the tag team bout that we're about to talk about.
Oh, he's not there to sell it; he's there to repossess it.
Yeah, very unusual team of dibiase and Repo Man. I don't know. Maybe dibiase hires Repo Man when he's like taking over properties and.
Well, he commentary mentioned that he was hired here to repossess the $1 million belt that Virgil stole.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't pay a lot of attention to this match, to be honest. So yeah.
I watched this show in 2 sessions. This was the start of the second session, so I was still fresh.
Yes. Well, I think you'd have to be.
I've got to split these hour-and-a-half shows up. They take your
time. Yeah. And Virgil and El Matador as a team, which I don't know.
Well, I suppose he had to get a partner. Tito probably wasn't doing much that night.
Yeah.
He said, "Hey, Tito, what are you doing this Tuesday?" "Oh, I don't know. You want to spend this Tuesday in Texas?"
See you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're gonna have to carry me through this match because I really didn't pay a whole lot of attention to it other than the finish.
So I know that he's presented differently and is like hunched over a lot. But if I didn't know, I would not have picked Repo Man as being part of Demolition.
No. Nah. Like I thought he did a really good job as Repo Man. He kind of took the best of the situation, and not to say that he ever was going to be WWF Champion, but I mean, he took the gimmick, and I can't imagine how Vince came up with that idea. But yeah, just his little, his mannerisms and all that sort of thing. Like he definitely tried to make something of it.
No, I think he did quite well, but yeah, it doesn't even look like the same guy
No.
from the um, Super World Sports show that we did, which was only a few months prior.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I think he tried to I think when he was doing the Smash character, and I think he had like a distinctive tattoo or something that he would always put like a guard on his leg, so people wouldn't recognize him if they would, if they'd seen him as, like Crusher Khrushchev or, or something like that in Jim Crockett Promotions. So, yeah, he was a real professional, and
Yeah,
he yeah took what he did seriously. So
I do have one question for you, as someone who is a little bit more familiar with this time frame. Why did he have tire marks on his gear? Or skid marks, I guess.
um, I don't know.
Like
Uh,
his little raccoon mask makes sense because it's
yeah,
like a.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
the tire marks. Like, why?
I don't know. He just loved it,
Did he
and
get run over? Like,
I don't know. Okay. No. I remember he had like he. I don't know if he comes out with it, but he had like a big jacket, and it would have like bits of tire on it. Like look like tire treads on them. I don't know.
let me just.
Not too sure.
Oh yeah, no, he did have that here. Yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah, I didn't notice it was tire treads.
yeah, but he actually had a mask at one point too, that wasn't this little raccoon mask. I remember him having like a full mask with the tire treads on that as well. So I think that was just a very short-lived deal, or I may have imagined it. I'm not too sure.
He
But
fell off the back of a truck.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, I watched a lot of the vignettes that he did where he repossessed a kid's bike, and just all that sort of shit, and it was funny. Like it was just, even though it was supposed to be a heel, but you got some entertainment value out of it.
It was cartoonish, but in a good way.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, and yeah, I remember like he like come to the Royal Rumble that time, and it might have been the '92 Rumble, and he's like sneaking down to the ring like that, and then the way he would like move around the ring, and he was always trying to sneak up behind people, and just stuff like that. Like he really committed to this gimmick. So I got to give him props for that.
Yeah, no, I definitely enjoyed what I saw of him here. But yeah, this is an interesting structure to the tag because the crowd's hot for Virgil and Ted DiBiase, and like they want that. As soon as they get it, Virgil just cops it, and then they just swing around to, oh no, give us Tito. So then Tito comes in, takes control. They're happy. Then he loses. Then he sort of gets a beat down, and then they get the hot tag, so Virgil can get the fire back. So yeah, it was. I don't know. I just noticed initially it's like, oh, we're building this. Oh, okay, here it is. Which like it's one of the big things that tends to happen in Japan a lot. So what New Japan have done at times is they won't actually have the two guys make contact that the people want to see.
Yeah.
So just say, for argument's sake, like Tanahashi and Okada on opposite sides of a 6-man. Like everyone will work, but those two won't have the contact, so it still leaves you keen for the upcoming match.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then the flip side of it, in Stardom, yes, I can turn a 91 Tuesday in Texas pay-per-view to Stardom, but they'll generally tease it, start with it often, and then basically once the interaction's done, it's not a factor in the match. So it's pretty much, okay, get it out of our systems. So yeah, that's why this structure stood out to me.
So what are you saying, that the Stardom bookers may have looked at this match and thought, this is how we're going to set up the psychology of our matches, is Virgil.
It was a bit different. So really, I guess what I'm saying is that Ted DiBiase and Mayu Iwatani have different ways of doing things.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
I thought the finish was a bit odd because,
yeah,
like, Sherry accidentally hits DiBiase with her shoe.
A heel for a heel.
But then Repo Man puts his knee into Virgil, and then DiBiase recovers and gets the win.
I didn't pick up the knee.
Yeah. Well, neither did I, because I'm just reading this off a review, because I really, like I said, I didn't really pay much attention to this match, but yeah, he does. Repo Man does do something to sort of immobilize Virgil, and then DiBiase just kind of rolls over and gets the win.
Yeah, no, I've got in my notes that Virgil attacked Sherry, which I'm just actually looking at the thing now, and yeah, he went for her. He had her around the throat.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, so Repo wasn't even in frame at this point, which...
He's sneaky.
Yeah, so I didn't pick up that he... because he didn't. Because, you said he's pushed him into her. No, Virgil attacked her on his own.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Which was nowhere near as effective as Jake and Liz.
No.
Which pretty much proves the point that if you do it properly, it's good. If you do it for the sake of it. And I've never quite understood that when you've got the female manager distracting the male wrestler in the ring. And then they get their hands on him. And, like, okay, now what? It's like it's an awkward situation to be in, and there's never a good outcome.
No. They usually do like the whole, they'll like hold onto the hair or something for like 30 seconds, waiting for the heel to make the save or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks dumb as dog shit. Or sometimes they'll just give him a kiss, which it's not exactly ideal, but at least there's a point in what they're doing. Like, what are you gonna do? Walk over, hold her, and then what? Like, it just doesn't make any sense at all to approach.
Yeah. I think Hogan used to give her an atomic drop.
That's something.
Or something like that. Not like, oh, I'm going to punch you in the face, or like something like that. It was just like, something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't think much of this match. Like, it was
Virgil's not a paragon of psychology.
No, but I mean, I to be fair, it was a hot storyline for the time.
Oh yeah, it's like it's still talked about today.
Yeah, like like when Virgil finally has enough and hits DiBiase with the $1 million belt, like the fans are just going nuts. Which was just kind of like that was really the high point of his career anywhere, really. That was really the only time where I would say that he was over. Where the fans...
I think it was over as the head of security for the NWA.
I don't think so.
Fair enough. I won't argue with you.
I don't think so. But yeah, so yeah, it was a nice bit of shine for him. But yeah. But I mean, I think that's also the greatness of DiBiase as well.
Oh yeah.
To make people have so much sympathy for him.
I guess it was later stage career here. I feel like he was never fully showing off what he could do in the ring in this company. But yeah, I guess as he's getting older, and he had such a good character as well.
Yeah.
I got a question.
No, you got another one.
I've got another one.
It's not about the tire treads again, is it? Because I don't know.
No,
Okay.
no. My question: what you gonna do, Undertaker, when Hulk Hogan buries you here in Texas?
Oh my goodness.
That's a bit on the nose, isn't it?
Yes. This Hogan promo was the opposite of the stuff that Jake and Savage did earlier. This was such a overly cheesy babyface promo, where he just really puts his fans over like $1 million, and the real survivors. The real survivors are the Hulkamaniacs, and and I mean, it was just, it was a bit. He goes a bit over the top with this.
Yeah, Hulkamania is still alive and well here at the tail end of 1991.
Yeah. But yeah, I didn't think much of this promo.
It's interesting ending with that line about burying him, and then immediately Taker enters, like Champ entering first, Hogan entering last. Like, that's not how we do things.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think of like the heel, even like the heel WWF champion. Sometimes they would come out first, if they were facing like a Hulk Hogan or an Ultimate Warrior, like a huge babyface star. So
yeah, I guess it might have changed over time as well. But yeah, for me, it's like champions always last.
Yeah.
But then again, some champions prefer to come out first. Kento Miyahara in All Japan will always come out first.
Got to get that Japanese reference in. Well, we're talking about early 90s WWF.
Yeah, keep it real.
But yeah, we've all of a sudden we're in the main event.
The immortal force versus the unkillable object.
Ooh.
Didn't they really hammer on in the immortal thing, which I thought was actually a little bit cool given the undead Taker. But
yeah, especially in this case, yeah, I can see where that works. But yeah, I feel like this was kind of a I think they were kind of setting up for Hogan and Flair for WrestleMania 8. By having
common sense would say that you would book.
Yeah, so I mean, this thing was yeah, okay, it was an interesting little feud here between Hogan and the Undertaker, but it was really more about, okay, we're gonna start setting up the big dream match between Hogan and Flair. So all this controversy starts, of course, at the Survivor Series when, as we mentioned, Flair puts the chair in and Undertaker tombstones him on it to win the belt. Jack Tunney says, there's controversy. I'm gonna book another match between you two, and I'm gonna sit at ringside to make sure no funny business happens.
And it's gonna happen this Tuesday.
Yes. So when we get this second match, and Flair does come out again and get involved. So the
Undertaker have a chat.
Yeah, just to say hello. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it was probably a bit of an awkward position for the Undertaker. Actually, he was sort of in the middle of this whole setting up of beginning to start the whole thing between Hogan and Flair, which really had started from the moment Flair arrived in the WWF. Like right away, he says that he's the real world's champion. He's coming after Hulk Hogan. But he's going to do a few things before that, which included the little feud that he had with Piper. Yeah.
Taker got shafted at Mania, didn't he?
What are we talking about? WrestleMania...
The 8.
The 8?
Yeah.
He wrestled Jake Roberts.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. So
yeah.
He was doing something decent.
Yeah, he beat Jake because Jake was on it. He left and went to WCW after that.
Yeah. And then yet to be graced with the presence of El Gigante.
Yes. Yeah, and well, there you go. Like, you know, Undertaker was put in a lot of awkward spots, but yeah, somehow he came out on top every time. So, you know, credit to the Undertaker. But yeah, he was in the middle of this whole mess between, you know, Hogan and Flair,
And he got a world title run out of it.
and he got a few days as WWF Champion. So
Yeah, it was enough to give him credibility for years.
yeah. Well, I think you know, the way that, you know, Hogan kept, you know, doing stuff to the Undertaker, and Undertaker wasn't, you know, it didn't seem to be affecting him, and
So I think to earn it.
So I think this was the first time when the fans kind of thought, "Oh, okay, yeah, this is different." So yeah, I guess it. Like I said, I don't think that it really hurt the Undertaker that he, you know, won and lost the WWF title so quickly.
No,
but he was just kind of in this, you know, the middle of this chess game that was going on. But yeah. And anyway.
Now I can say that I thought this match was quite fun. With that difference in characters and the selling and everything. It was definitely a lot better than the last match they had in 2002.
Ah, yes. Yeah. I don't think I've seen that one yet.
Yeah, Judgment Day, I believe.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And, Hogan won that one, though. Oh, no, hang on. No, Taker got his win back. Yeah.
Oh, good. Which doesn't happen often.
No.
That you get a win back from Hulk. To be honest, I didn't really think much of their Survivor Series match. Didn't really think much of this match either. So, yeah, it was just a match. Like, they didn't really do anything special. Nothing. I didn't see much too memorable about it. But
I think part of what stood out for me is early Undertaker.
Yeah,
because I am a lot more familiar with pretty much every other version but this one.
Yeah. But yeah, Jack Tunney ends up getting knocked down, which was kind of a soft old bump that he took. You know, Flair's down there, and then Hogan hits Flair in the back with a chair, and it's like the softest bump in the world, but, you know, Tunney's knocked out for the next 10 minutes. So he doesn't see the next controversy that's going to happen. Flair again tries to use the chair, and this time Hulk reverses it, and Undertaker goes head first in the chair instead. What do you think of the finish?
Yeah, it was a bit contrived.
Yeah.
But I suppose that was kind of the point.
Yeah. Hogan, Paul Bearer, I guess, comes up on the apron. Hogan decks him, gets the urn. Actually empties the urn.
Yeah.
Which
what happened.
Yeah, which I guess was... I think I read about this in, like, WWF Magazine or something. So as a kid, I was kind of like, oh, they emptied out the urn, you know, because they always made out such a thing about, what's in the urn, you know, what could it be? And, you know, is that the relatives of the Undertaker's, you know, ashes or something, you know, or whatever. And Hogan gets the urn, empties out, gets the ashes. And
but they burnt a bale and then put it in there.
It could have been, yeah. A bit of an old bale, I think.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's a bit of a cricket reference, but yeah, and then a pretty sloppy old roll up, and pins the Undertaker.
Oh yeah, he threw the
ashes in his face.
Yeah. And then we get some one-eyed commentary from Gorilla Monsoon. I don't care what Jack Tunney saw or thought he saw, but the referee's decision is final, and no one can do anything about it. Yeah, we'll see about that, Gorilla. We'll see.
Imagine if the Undertaker had done that. Yeah.
And then, on the next TV, Hogan got stripped of the belt due to this controversy, and the belt was held up to be determined in the 1992 Royal Rumble.
Yeah, which is one of the greatest matches of all time, I believe.
Coming soon to a roadshow near you.
Ooh. Well, I'll be very much looking forward to that then, if we're going to be
Yeah.
talking about the Rumble 92.
And I mean,
Sorry.
yes, and we are a couple of weeks past it at this point, but probably worth mentioning that this month is the 30th anniversary of this Tuesday in Texas.
Okay. Oh, so that's why you wanted to look at this. I was wondering why you wanted to talk about this show.
Yeah, I own a calendar.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. And so, unfortunately, I guess this was the last midweek pay-per-view that we'd see for a while.
Until 2004.
Wow.
I actually Survivor Series. They were on the Thursdays for Thanksgiving.
Oh, yeah.
Until 95, which we just covered. So between 95 and 2004, they were all weekend pay-per-views.
Okay.
Yeah. Then Taboo Tuesday in 2004 broke the mold, and was also similar to this Tuesday in that it took place in the same month as another show.
Interesting. But why didn't it work? Why did they feel that Tuesday nights were not pay-per-view nights for a while? What do you think?
Well, I think, being after so soon after Survivor Series probably hurt getting people to pony up the cash, basically 2 weeks in a row, 6 days between them.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest thing. Because, the show itself, it had feature matches. It had 2 title matches, which they only had 3 belts at the time, not like the 4,000 they have now. So it was only a 5-match card, but it was, I think, a pay-per-view quality card for the time, partially anyway.
Probably not as good as Canadian Stampede, which was about 5 matches, but then that was also in 97. So yeah, I see what you mean. I thought the opening match between Brett and Skinner was really good.
Yeah.
Went a little long for my liking, but I thought it wasn't too bad. Obviously loved the Jake Randy fight, and then the aftermath of it, and the promos from both, but particularly from Jake. That to me was the real star that this whole thing was built around. I'd kind of seen Warlord and Bulldog a few times, so wasn't it was all right, but nothing huge. The tag match, meh, and just didn't really get into the main either. So I'm probably not going to rate this pay-per-view very highly, and I don't know if I'll ever watch it again unless you want me to, and then I'll probably think about it.
Yeah, well, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I can see why it didn't succeed. Tuesday, I guess, is an interesting night to run, but I think there was a little bit of genius in the market, like the name of it, like this Tuesday in Texas. Oh, when's the show? This Tuesday
in Texas. Yeah.
So that was this Tuesday in Texas. So you've just heard what we thought. Let us know what you thought. Of course, you can do that on the hotline. Email us, podcast@thewrestlingroadshow.com. Now, we did our Survivor Series 95 show prior to this, and we've got an email from our old mate Mark down in Sydney, providing us with a little bit of background on the WWF's broadcast status through that time. So he says the period from 1993 until around 1996, 97 was pretty much the lost era of WWF in Australia, at least. Channel 10 stopped screening Superstars around 93, but from memory they continued to screen the pay-per-views on a 3-week delay. It wasn't until pay TV that the continuity came back, so a lot of what happened in the intervening years was lost to us at the time. And if you listen to a lot of fans, we didn't miss a hell of a lot. Which I guess that explains the abundance of tapes at the video stores.
Yeah, it was a really good time. Obviously, that time has now passed us, but yeah, good memories. Good memories.
Yeah, so that's our emails. Probably need to fix. I can do this a bit better. Hang on. Yeah, so that was good times, and of course we take a look at all sorts of times here on the Roadshow. We've got it's plugging time. So we've got our website, of course, thewrestlingroadshow.com, where statistics say you are listening to this podcast on. Click around, check the articles. Our weekly road trip music's going strong. Our latest feature as of recording was a nice little section on Hollywood Bob Holly. And
Would have thought you'd see that.
And a little known theme. It's a nice little footnote in history. Yeah, come on, check it out. What else we got? We got the socials. That's your department.
Yeah, we're on the Facebook and Twitter machines. So I think you do have the Twitter link on the website. But yeah, just have a search for the Wrestling Roadshow on Facebook.
And of course, speaking of Facebook, check out our old mates at the Wrestling Glory Days page. You can look it up on Facebook. You can click the link on our site. Yeah, they got a lot of quality content, kind of like we do, but a little bit more of it.
They've got a few more contributors, I think, but yeah, always some good stuff on there. Trying to think of, I feel really bad, but there was a indie wrestler, Jimmy Rave, who recently passed away.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So there's a really good write-up on there about him. So
sounds like a good enough reason to do a music post.
Yep. By all means.
Yeah. So that's all that. We've got, of course, we've always got more shows coming up. I'm not too sure what our schedule looks like over the Christmas period. I should know because I wrote it out, but I don't have it handy.
Dear.
We'll definitely be working on some materials, so it might come soon. It might come a little bit later. Bear with us. It'll turn up. If you've got any ideas or any shows you'd like us to do, flick us an email at the aforementioned podcast at thewrestlingroadshow.com email address, and we'll have a look and see what we can do. So that's all for now. That's it from us, and we will catch you down the road.